Was it a UFO, or is there a more down-to-earth explanation for it? A strange sight. Red blinking lights could be seen across Morris County, New Jersey last night. What was it? Here's CBS 2's John Slattery.
This is what was seen last night between 8:30 and 9, photographed by the Hurley family in Whippany.
It was unsettling, for sure, just because you're watching something that you have no idea, you've never seen before, and very strange pattern.
11-year-old Kristen was the first to spot them, a group of 3 lights together and 2 lights together seen in the sky through the trees.
I looked up outside and I was really scared, and I just saw these 5 red lights.
The family went out onto their deck to look at the strange sight. Paul Hurley, a pilot who works at Morristown Airport, says they weren't planes.
I've been in the aviation industry for 20 years and have never seen anything like this.
The Hurleys weren't the only ones to see the bright lights. At 8:28, the Hanover Township Police received the first of 7 911 calls.
I walked out of my house. It's like these parachutes with these balloons with these 5 lights that are flying over right now.
Paul Hurley, who called the Morristown Airport control tower, says the lights had also been spotted from there, yet they caused no interference with flight operations. Between those officials and the Morristown police, the best guess as to what the lights were, nothing more than a prank, roadside flares attached to helium balloons. Yet they left rather quickly.
It took off. It was very strange.
There's been no report of any debris recovered, and police don't know who released them. The FAA tells CBS 2 News, with the exception of laser lights and weather balloons, there is no regulation on releasing balloons or shining lights into the sky. John Slattery, CBS 2 News.
Now, adding to this UFO mystery, the Hanover Township Police asked Air Traffic Control to try to spot the objects on radar. They were not visible on radar, but those in the control tower, as John just reported, could see them. I love this story.
The mystery continues.
Yes.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, mysterious sightings that have even the most level-headed wondering, what's up?
A little scary, yeah, a little scary. Didn't really know what they were. They were very bright red lights.
This is the weird, unsettling sight Paul, a longtime pilot, captured on tape. Mysterious red lights in a diagonal formation just hovering above his yard in Whippany.
They were just kind of floating along. We didn't really know what they were. I've been in the aviation industry for about 20 years, so I knew they weren't airplanes.
Paul is far from alone. Folks outside this Morristown sports arena looked up, amazed.
It didn't seem to be moving at all. It was very, very distinct. Very distinct. I've never seen anything like it.
It was kind of strange. Just that they looked very in a formation, that they had a purpose.
Folks so worried, police tell us they even called them, and the sightings all made the local newspapers.
I would imagine there could be anything.
UFO?
It's possible. Why not?
What'd you think those red lights were?
Aliens.
Really? And wild thoughts of the classic War of the Worlds flick shot in parts of New Jersey flashed in folks' minds. Could this be a real UFO here in the Garden State?
New Jersey's like the melting pot of the world, so I guess it's time for UFOs. If they're coming, they might as well come here first.
Unidentified flying object? Absolutely. Sort of streaked down toward New York, and the final one just kind of went blip, disappeared.
Really? Just
cool.
Blip?
Yeah, I'd say blip.
Police say these sightings may be a helium balloon with flares attached to it, but so far, no concrete answer yet. In Whippany, New Jersey, Koran Mahalik, Fox 5 News.
Question's strangest story of the day. Mysterious lights in the sky quickly becoming the talk of the town in Morris County.
Police in Morristown say they got more than a dozen calls from people reporting a formation of red lights over their town.
Other communities here in New Jersey had similar reports. Here's some video. It was shot by Eric Hernandez from Bound Brook. He says during a short break at work, he and 4 of his co-workers saw these 5 tiny lights. News 12 New Jersey's Don Pellis spoke with 2 other eyewitnesses in Morris Plains for their first-hand account in a story you'll see only on 12.
Chris Russo and his friend Joe Rudy were on their way to get a bite to eat in Morris Plains when they saw them.
We were driving on Hanover, and all of a sudden we see these lights literally zip over our car.
They pulled over, grabbed Joe's camera, and started shooting.
The lights seem to ascend and descend almost in a sequence. They would rise up slowly and dip down. It's nothing like I've ever seen before, so I'd like to see someone, tell me what it was, because I cannot tell you what it was.
We emailed Chris and Joe's video to Peter Davenport, director of the National UFO Reporting Center in Washington State. Over the phone, he told us he couldn't say what the lights were, but in his opinion, they were not from an airplane.
Conventional aircraft under the federal aviation regulations, the FARs, are required to have a red light on the left wingtip. They don't have five red lights on them. And based on what I've seen, I think we can all but rule out the possibility that these lights were affixed to any kind of conventional or terrestrial aircraft.
Morristown police say they got more than a dozen calls about the lights. In this report, one officer said he looked at them through binoculars and saw flares tied to balloons.
From what we saw, no way. It couldn't have been what they were doing. The way they were moving around, I mean, they zipped over our car.
Whatever they were, Chris and Joe say it's not something they'll ever forget.
All right, are these just lights in the sky or something more? Veteran pilot Paul Hurley captured these lights on tape just hovering above his backyard in Whippany, New Jersey. Some thought they were aligning in some kind of formation.
It was kind of strange. Just that they looked very in a formation, that they had a purpose. I would imagine there could be anything.
UFO?
It's possible. Why not?
So police don't know exactly what the lights were. They tell us what you think, or you tell us what you think. Email us at friends@foxnews.com. I don't know, is this anywhere near Newark? Because one would think it would be airplanes.
He's just running a little late.
So your alien had a room at the Holiday Inn for Alice?
It might have been a room on the spacecraft made up to look like a room at the Holiday Inn. I can't be sure about that, Peter.
Of course not. And that is the whole problem with aliens, is you just can't trust them.
Bill Murray, Ghostbusters, can't trust them. Looking into aliens spotted in New Jersey, but all kidding aside, folks in the Garden State are wondering what's up in there in the sky. Unexplained red lights spotted in the sky near Whippany, New Jersey. Police say it's probably a helium balloon with flares attached, but others, they're not so sure, including our guests who videotaped what they saw, Paul and Cindy Harvey. Paul's a veteran pilot. Good morning to both of you. How are you?
Great.
Good morning.
What day did this happen? What did you see?
This was Monday evening when we saw these 5 red lights in the sky.
5?
Yeah, we saw 5. There were reports of 6 or more, but we saw 5 from our backyard.
Cindy, what did you see? Describe it.
Same thing. There were 3 red lights that were in a triangular pattern, and then 2 that were ahead of them, just sort of floating, drifting in the sky. Strange.
Did your neighbors see this?
We didn't call our neighbors.
You haven't talked to them?
We do,
I figured this has got to be the topic on your street.
You would think, yeah.
In the wintertime, we don't see each other much.
Okay. Now, Paul, do you think there are aliens in New Jersey?
Well, I'm not sure myself. I'm not a big believer in UFOs or aliens, but, this leads you to wonder.
Yeah, do you have kids?
We have 3 children, yes.
Are they okay?
They're all good.
They haven't been abducted?
They were nervous. Our 11-year-old is the one who spotted them, so we need to give credit to Kristen. She was doing homework and looked up and saw them outside.
And you got the video camera out? What did you do?
Yeah,
yes.
Cindy grabbed her still camera, and I grabbed the video camera and took the video of it.
Okay, Paul, were they red? Were they white? Were they blue? What were they?
They were red. I probably can't see the color real well on the video, but they were red lights. They were pretty bright.
It looks a little white on this videotape, but I take your word for it.
Yeah.
Now, you're a pilot, right?
Yeah, I do have my license, yes.
You've flown how many hours?
I probably have about 500 hours.
Okay. Now, ever seen anything like this?
I've never seen anything like this, no.
So what do you make of it?
I don't know what to make of it. The patterns were very unusual. We live very near Morristown Airport, and right in the landing pattern for one of the runways, and coming from this direction that we're looking at, and never seen anything like this coming from that direction.
You'll allow me to be the skeptic here, right?
Absolutely.
And the emails are going to fill out too.
Mr. Glass half full.
Just so you know. Yes, I am half full.
Can I just say one thing?
Half full of it.
Can I say just one thing? That on that video, it looks like they're twinkling. That's because you're seeing them through our trees in our backyard.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that clarification.
They are solid, straight
I want to show you something from Phoenix, Arizona in April of this year, all right?
Okay.
Have you seen the picture?
Yeah, yes, we have.
Does it look like what you saw the other night?
I watched it on I Googled last night, and I was looking at that, and I was creeped out because it looked just the same as what we saw.
Okay, they've determined that in Phoenix, some guy filled up a lot of balloons with helium, put a red flare on the bottom, lit the flare, and off the balloons went up into the air, and they drifted away the way the wind direction went.
That's what people are speculating, but I'm not positive that that's possible for it to really work that way.
Why not?
You know, as we analyze over the past couple of days what we saw, you start to think flares put out smoke, and we didn't see any smoke. You know, if you go to a July 4th celebration with fireworks, you do see the smoke off the fireworks, but we saw no smoke.
Now that's interesting. Did they burn out? Did they dissipate? What did they do?
They kind of just drifted out of sight. A couple of them appeared to take off in one of the from that triangle. One of those seemed to either drop out of the sky or from our the perspective was hard at night, but it may have taken off. And one of the two that are being pointed at right now in the horizontal seemed to take off to the south in a very fast pace.
All right. Well, we'll take your word for it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate for coming in today.
Thank you so much.
Best to your children in the new year.
Thank you.
Glad they're okay.
They are the most credible, believable UFO guests I think I've ever seen.
I had an answer for everything, too,
and
didn't
from
they?
New Jersey, not from the middle of nowhere like
well done,
sometimes it is.
Cindy.
Nicely
done, Paul.
What do you guys think? America's Newsroom at FoxNews.com.
Though I can't confirm it, billions of galaxies, trillions of stars. With all that out there, it's entirely possible that intelligent life exists somewhere else in the universe, right? I mean, come on. The real question is whether it exists in Jersey.
Didn't really know what they were. They were very bright red lights. They were just kind of floating along.
Those lights showed up Monday over New Jersey's Morris County, and the 911 calls started coming in.
It didn't seem to be moving at all. It was very, very distinct. Very distinct. I've never seen anything like it.
I've been in the aviation industry for about 20 years, so I knew they weren't airplanes.
I would imagine there could be anything.
UFO?
It's possible. Why not?
What'd you think those red lights were?
Aliens?
Well, why not? Would it be so hard to believe aliens have been hanging out here?
New Jersey's like the melting pot of the world, so I guess it's time for UFOs. If they're coming, they might as well come here first.
Actually, the lights came to Arizona first.
I walk back outside and I see these weird red dots and I kind of thought, oh, well, that's no stars.
I grabbed the camera. I was very excited because most of the time my family thinks I'm an exaggerator.
Well, she wasn't exaggerating this time, but those were not UFOs.
When I got out the binoculars, I could see that they were actually swaying back and forth as a pendulum.
Perhaps like road flares attached to helium balloons?
I could distinctly see a trail of smoke rising and going off to the northeast away from the flares.
Yeah, that would explain it. In fact, someone admitted pulling the stunt in Phoenix, but New Jersey does not seem convinced.
Sort of streaked down toward New York, and the final one just kind of went blip.
So for now, better keep watching the sky, in case more aliens show up to attack us with road flares. Go Jersey.
We're 25 miles out of New York City, where a lot of people here have claimed to see strange lights in the sky. This could well be the first UFO sighting of 2009.
I know this is going to sound crazy.
I know. 5 red lights over the sky.
It's a little eerie.
Looked up at the sky and I saw these 3 red blinking lights. The color was a very deep red. The light that was closest to me actually started moving, directly overhead, and it just sat there. It had to be like 4, 5, 6 times the size of a jet plane.
Did these look like flares, or they look different from flares?
I did not think of flares when I saw these things.
I've been in the aviation industry about 20 years. I do have a pilot's license. I've never seen a pattern like this in the sky before. 5 red lights in the sky in a very unusual pattern. I called the control tower at the airport. I know a bunch of the guys that work in that control tower, and so I called down there and spoke to one of them, and he said to me, I see the lights, I don't know what they are, we're not talking to them.
If you're interested in following the rest of this investigation, log on to www.history.com/UFO hunters. And remember, every piece of evidence brings us one step closer to the truth.
2009 got off to a surprising start for the residents that live in and around Morristown, New Jersey.
I've never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah, the red lights in the sky. I have no idea, so I can see them on my camera, but don't know where they're coming from. All right, we'll call Morristown Airport. Maybe they know something about it.
Police say the unidentified flying object was nothing more than flares, a theory UFO hunters has already tested and proven implausible. For the Hurleys, the spectacle captured the attention of even their youngest child.
Tell us exactly what happened and what caught your attention about these lights.
Well, I was sitting doing my homework on the floor with my dad. He was facing behind the window. I looked out and I saw these 5 red lights. I was scared. I didn't know what they were.
Paul Hurley shows Bill video he shot from his backyard.
2 lights here, horizontal, and then back here are 3 lights in a triangle pattern.
These lights are moving without any independent movement. They look rigid. And look at this.
Yes.
You could almost make out a frame in here.
That's right. Right, and these 2 stay the same distance apart from each other.
I want to take this back to my team and have a photo analyst kind of go through this to figure out what these lights might be.
It would be wonderful.
Up next, the team analyzes the footage, and their finding is nothing short of amazing.
That thing's just enormous.
Where's your emergency?
What is going on in the sky? What are those red dots in the sky?
I have no idea. I don't see any red dots in the sky, ma'am. I'm inside.
I'm off of Park Road. I'm in my backyard, and there's in the sky. There's dots in the sky. What is it?
No one seems to know what those red lights are, but after seeing them with his own eyes, Ray Vargas of Morris Plains would love to know.
Whatever it was real. For me, at least.
Ray says his son Justin spotted the lights on Tuesday from their living room window.
He's a prankster, so I didn't kind of believe him. And I saw his face, and he meant, business. He was almost hypnotized.
They had like a cross shape with like dots around them, and then I called him. It was really weird.
I was excited. My hair stood up from the back of my neck, and I went out to check and take videos.
Ray's video looks similar to these shots taken by 2 friends from Morris Plains last month. Similar video has been popping up all over YouTube. It's even got the attention of a man from Michigan who says the lights could be the sky lanterns he sells. They're wax and paper balloons that float flares into the air. Here's a picture of the lanterns and the lights. You be the judge. Ray says, no way.
If it's a hoax, it's a real good hoax, because there wasn't no flares, no streaks. They were almost as if they were communicating with each other.
This is what will be bringing us out this afternoon. It is Saturday, February 28th, 2009. What you're looking at is an ad in the Star Ledger from Friday, February 27th, yesterday, 2009. Red lights and earthquakes. There's a sale going on at Warnock, and Chris is now going to tell you what it's all about. Chris.
Hello. As Joe mentioned, there's a sale going on at Warnock, and Mr. Warnock, Robert Warnock, was quoted in the paper from one of our launches, saying what he saw, and the sales manager, actually I think just the sales manager, Tom Nolfi, was quoted. But now we're going to go over to the sale and see what employees think the lights were. I guess you could say, Joe and I are going to go in there and do a little documentary, see what people have to say. We have our waivers here that they can sign, so we'll keep it as professional as possible. As you can see, I'm trying to be a little dolled up here.
I'm not, if you can see me.
You still look good, Joe. I think you look good.
Let's get a shot of the waiver.
All right. Let's take a look over here. Here's the waiver right here. I hereby authorize my likeness and my statements to be used in the UFO documentary, which is being filmed on this day, February 28th, 2009. Print name, sign name, date. I mean, neither of us are lawyers, but we think it sounds pretty good. And we have a list of questions here we're going to ask the employees if they're willing to participate. And that's it. We're going to keep it short and sweet, and we're going to show you what's going on. I was at the dealership yesterday and today. They have alien, little balloon aliens stuffed all over the place. They have a car with decals of Area 51 on it. They put a lot of money into it. It's a big banner. So we're going to have a lot of fun here today and try and get some eyewitness testimony and people's thoughts on the incident.
Morris County, New Jersey is turning into the new Roswell.
I agree. The new Roswell, right here in Morris County, New Jersey.
And we're perpetuating it.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a ride.
See you in a bit.
New ones or? The pattern was too firm. This one would light. They were perfect.
But wouldn't that fall? Eventually, wouldn't that fall through the ground?
That's what I said.
But they kept.
Where the hell is it?
Yeah. Right. Somebody in the backyard or something.
There's the loophole in the.
So strange.
And against the wind, definitely they were moving against.
Absolutely.
Against the wind.
So
And they were not flares. Somebody said they were flares. Oh, that's what happened the next day. I'll tell you. That's why I said the police said, oh, they were flares that went by.
Yeah.
And the 5th. I think that's what they
The
said.
5th, exactly. Flares. Yeah.
They were absolutely not flares because they went right over our building. Of used flares, of lit flares, there was no smoke. Absolutely not. Even though the ceiling was low that day.
Somebody else said that.
And Robert was a volunteer fireman. He knows what a freaking flare looks like.
Okay.
He was first aid before his surgery.
Yeah.
There was no smoke trail.
And he saw them that night too?
Yeah. He called me out that night.
And he doesn't think they were flares.
No. He saw them 3 times.
Flares are kind of like bright too.
No, but they said they were flares. The first day the cops said, oh, they were flares.
Right.
Yeah, but then they contradicted themselves. They were like, no, then they didn't know what it was. And if you read the newspaper.
I wish I remember who the customers were, because we had a bunch of them over there and a bunch of them over here.
What were they saying? What were they saying? Oh, it's
Yeah. Well, the customer's the one who called us. He goes, what in the hell's that?
Yeah.
Andy Greenhunt was the one that saw it the first time
Yeah.
outside with Rodrigo.
What was their opinion? Did they have an opinion on it? Or?
No, everybody was stumped. Honestly,
Yeah.
we were all stumped.
Yeah.
Kind of freaked out.
Yeah. Well.
And the funny thing is, just to say, I go home, I tell my wife, I say, oh, by the way, we said it's really. She goes, really? Okay.
Nothing. It was hilarious. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, you know what makes for an interesting story if nothing else.
So it got worse.
Yeah. Oh God.
All the Viper guys and.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen.
But no, I can tell you what it was. It was no way it was flares. I just don't believe that. Not a chance.
Maybe there'll be an answer soon enough. Maybe.
Maybe not.
Independence Day. That's what you should go with the theme, like the Independence Day.
Yeah, that should be the next one.
We can make it a little Hollywoodized.
Global positioning.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, listen, guys. Tom, seriously,
Pleasure,
make sure
pleasure.
Taking this time here with us.
Really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Nice meeting.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for the aliens too. We appreciate it.
It's okay if I grab this little guy? All right.
All right. See you there, guys.
What you do is the HOV lane and put his mask.
We get you to work quicker.
All right.
See you there, guys. Thank you again. Have a good day. Take care.
I'll leave my cells on there.
Oh, it's on there? Okay, good. We'll get you both on. Thanks again. See you guys.
Still recording.
What's that?
Still recording.
Nice. Not flares. They're definitely not flares.
Definitely not flares.
That's for sure.
And we got an alien out of it.
Yep. 3 aliens, actually.
There's my friend. He's smiling.
All right. As you can see, the bullshit is getting thicker and deeper. Check that out. Nice car we have over here. And Joe and I are both very happy to see what's happening around town. And you know what? I'm happy for them. They're very nice people that work here, and they actually had some of their best sales yesterday. So maybe the aliens are drawing customers. It's really nice to hear, though. So we're happy somebody's making money off of it. But anyway, as you can see, people are still going to believe what they want to believe. And you know what, though? They're having fun doing it. So we wanted to show you what was going on over here, and we'll check back with you later on.
bigger. Why can't you make the binoculars?
I'm recording your voice.
Why don't the binoculars zoom in?
You got to move it up and down. You can't zoom in with binoculars. You can only focus.
Oh my God.
They're floating apart. I think they're flares.
Oh, just don't be ridiculous. Flares. Flares? Don't you see that they're saucers? Take these damn things and look.